Okay, so today is cosine, and you just have to remember adjacent over hypotenuse. So C-A-H. Okay, so all of these should be cosine things, unless, of course, I've made a typo. All right, so when I look at angle 27, I notice that 20 is the hypotenuse, and x is the adjacent side. So I say cosine 27 adjacent over hypotenuse, or cosine 27 x over 20, because x is the adjacent. Cross multiply, so I have 20 times the cosine of 27 is equal to x. And waking up my calculator, 20 times the cosine of 27 says 17.82. So x equals 17.82. There are no directions for rounding, so I just made up my own. 17.8, notice it's less than 20, so that's good. All right, in the next one, here's my angle 51. X is our hypotenuse. 10 is our adjacent, because over here is the opposite. So cosine of 51 is adjacent over hypotenuse. So cosine 51 is 10 over x. So when I cross multiply, I get x times the cosine of 51 equals 10. Divide by the cosine of 51. So 10 divided by the cosine of 51. My calculator says x equals 15.89, which is good because it's longer than 10. Okay, this one, pictures are twisted just to make sure that you're paying attention. X is our hypotenuse. 123 is opposite. So here's one of those that's kind of a trick question, evidently. So I can say that the sine of 51 or 50 is opposite over hypotenuse. So I have to make sure I'm paying attention. Or I could have found this angle and used cosine, but whatever. So sine of 50 is opposite, which is 123 over x. Cross multiply. X times the sine of 50 is equal to 123. Divide by the sine of 50. And 123 divided by the sine of 50 is 160.57. X equals 160.57, which is good because it's longer than 123. Okay, you can stop the video anytime if I'm going too fast. So here's my angle 59. Here's my hypotenuse. Here's my adjacent. So cosine of 59 is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. So cosine of 59 is equal to 432 over x. Cross multiply. X times the cosine of 59 is equal to 432. Divide by the cosine of 59. So 432 divided by the cosine of 59. My calculator says x equals 838.77. Okay, now we're going to find the angle. We did this yesterday when we did sine. This is my hypotenuse. This is my adjacent. So this is my unknown. I'm going to put an x there. I know there's a question mark. And I'm going to say that the cosine of x is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. The cosine of x is equal to 24 over 36. Remember, when you do this, you have to do second cosine of 24 divided by 36. And I get x to be 48.2 degrees. Okay, second cosine, inverse cosine. All right, I'm going to call this x. This is my hypotenuse. This is my adjacent. So the cosine of x is adjacent over hypotenuse. So the cosine of x is equal to 20 over 23. So second cosine of 20 divided by 23 equals x equals 29.6 degrees. Okay, now here we go. We have something fun. Find the measure of angle A. Here's angle A. So this is my hypotenuse. This is my adjacent. So the cosine of A is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. So the cosine of A is 17 over 22. So second cosine of 17 divided by 22, 39.4. A equals 39.4 degrees. Okay, here we are in a rectangle. I'm looking for DB, that's this. Okay, well, if this side is 24, so is this side on the AB. So this is 24. And if I'm looking at this right triangle here, I know that X is my hypotenuse and 35 is the angle I know. So that makes this the adjacent side. So I can say cosine of 35 is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. So the cosine of 35 is 24 over x. Cross multiply. X cosine 35 equals 24. All those properties that we learned with quadrilaterals may come in handy. Cosine of 35. So 24 divided by the cosine of 35. My calculator says x equals 29.3. All right, so here's a typical question. No picture, so I'll have to draw one. A 12-foot ladder rests against the side of a wall. So here's my wall. Here's my ladder. So the building usually is 90 degrees with the ground, usually, unless it's falling down. And it says it's a 12-foot ladder, so I know that this side is 12. A safe angle of 65 degrees is used between the ladder and the ground. So when I do this, the ladder and the ground, that's going to be this angle right here. Because this is the ladder, this is the ground, so this is 65 degrees. How far from the wall should the ladder be placed? So here's the wall, so I want to know how far from the wall should the ladder be placed. Okay, so if I look at 65, notice that 12 is my hypotenuse and that x is my adjacent side. So I'm going to say that the cosine of 65 is adjacent over hypotenuse. So the cosine of 65 is x over 12. Cross multiply. 12 cosine 65 is equal to x. So 12 times the cosine of 65, my calculator says is how far from the ladder, doesn't say, and it's about 5 feet. 5.07, so 5.1 feet, or about 5 feet. Okay? All right, good luck.